Hey, come on, come on. What? Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Let's chit chat, this is the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Come on. Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey, what's up? Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
Guys, I wanted to get together tonight because while this topic is hot, I wanted to talk about identity crisis. And I'm gonna say it's an identity crisis because this is just, the word on the street. Meghan Markle, okay? Did y'all see her docuseries?
I did. I
I
watched
thought
it.
it was really good. I thought it was
It was
really
very good.
Yeah, some
It was
parts
I watched a little bit of it.
yeah, it was really so it was sad to me. It was really sad because I thought it was sad because a couple things. I think that she was not ready for the viciousness. I think that she was not ready to live in what we all live in because and not to judge her. I think that she was here in the United States and we live kind of in a colorism type of society, and even her mom kind of backed that up. Well, over there they didn't even care because they knew that she had a black mom and she was black, you know what I mean? So I think she wasn't ready for that, and I think she wasn't ready for how popular she was going to be, you know what I mean? That people thought that she was the second Prince Diana to come because she got out there straight out the start, and she did a lot of charity, and she really blended with people, and she really did more than a connection. She was very soulful in I'll say her duties, because it was her duties. So I wanted to have this topic about identity crisis because I saw a lot of comments. I don't know if you saw these comments after she made these comments about basically when she was, living here in the United States and in Canada, she didn't get treated like a black woman. So before I go any further, I just want to hear your feedback about that comment.
She didn't get treated like a black woman.
She says she did not get treated like a black woman.
Is
So
that because she's light and bright?
I think so because she has a
she has
Caucasian dad.
ambiguous look to her, right? And depending on the crowd that she was hanging in, it never became an issue or a topic. That's how I took what she meant, what she said. That's how I took what she said.
So do you really think it's her looks? Because
I think
I don't think it's her looks.
I don't think it's so much her look as who she hung with. The crowd that she hung with. She went to college and she didn't go to a HBCU. I mean, I didn't go to one either, but I'm saying she didn't go to an HBCU. She blended in. She joined a white sorority. So unless her mother was a part of that picture, those people did not know. She never probably brought it up. I can't say can't speak to whether it was shame or wasn't shame. She just never brought it up. And so when you live in that world, her ex-husband was a white man. So when you look at the documentary and you see all of her closest friends, although you see you see Serena and you see Tyler Perry, and I believe that's from later on, but her closest friends are all still white. So I believe she lived and was acclimated to that type of world. So is it shame when you don't talk about it or you don't constantly bring it up, or it just ain't your ministry, right? Until somebody brings it up. I went back later and watched the show Suits. I didn't watch it when it first came on and it was coming on weekly. I did not watch it then. It was. So I went back later and watched all the seasons. And when I watched those seasons, what I recognized is that was her story. The guy saw her, and from the first time he saw her, he fell in love with her. He just thought that she was beautiful, and he didn't think anything of it. It wasn't later till that character found out later about her dad being Black that she was like, well, you have an issue with my father being Black? And he was like, no, I just love you for you, or whatever.
So which story are you
So
talking about that was her story? Not
in
this story
Suits.
right now.
No, in Suits. I'm
I know, but her
talking
story.
about I'm talking about being ambiguous.
Okay,
So it
I was
wasn't
just like when you said the guy met her and fell right in love
the
with her.
the guy in Suits, when the character Mike, who wound up being her husband, when he first
I
met
used to
her,
look
he
at
just
Suits. I'm
right.
just saying.
So
So who was that character? Who are you saying that? Is that William?
no, William, no, well, she's married to Harry.
I
I'm
mean, yeah.
saying that
Are you saying that was Harry?
what I'm saying is I recognize that that's how her life was lived, just like her character in Suits.
Oh,
It
wow.
didn't become an issue until someone met the parent who was Black. Some people would
Okay.
know, others would not know. That's the
But
point I was making.
I'm gonna interject here because honestly, I see what you're saying, and I'm not totally in disagreement, but I am disagreement about her mom because her dad was not the sole present person in her life, and her mother was. So I don't
Right.
know how her mom would not be a topic. I think because her mom made this conversation too that she never thought it was an issue that she needed to talk about this with Megan.
Mhm.
I think Megan was just like rainbow children, you know what I mean? That, she had a motley group of friends. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't think she
Mhm.
just had all white friends. I think she had different types of friends. And I think that here in living in California, I think that she didn't have to deal with the I guess the racist type of mentality that she was not used to being exposed. I mean, that she was exposed to when she got to England, because she didn't only just have her mom. When you said her friends was white, I mean, if you go back and look at the documentary, not just Serena and all these people, she had a lot of different friends. You know what I mean? But I just really don't think that that was her main thing for putting on blinders to think that she was not a black woman. I think that it's just that the simple fact that we live in a society here in the United States as well that is it easier to be uh
So
you see what
before
I'm
you go,
saying?
right. So before you go any further and the next person talks, being that I lived in both Philadelphia and being from California, San Francisco specifically, and being from the Bay Area and living a lot of my life there, that's not true. A lot of people assume because you grow up in California, everything is this melting pot. Depending on where you live, they have just as much segregation as they had when I came back here to Philadelphia, which is why there were sometimes I had a lot of reverse culture shock. So doing the whole back and forth is a big deal.
But we
And
know that
so
racism is all over. But I'm just saying,
yeah, I don't
if
mean
she was
about
in
race. I
she
just
was in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? She wasn't in San
right,
Francisco. She was in Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
right. But
So
it's not a huge big difference. My
so it's not
point
a
is
huge
that
difference in anything. But it's saying we're saying about the circle she's in. I'm not trying to minimize what you're saying, Chauncey, but the circle she's in, like when you're going to the point of about her mom and stuff like that, I don't think her and her mom are very, very close. And you're a mom, Celeste a mom, Ramel, you're a mom, I'm a mom. Hell, I'm a black mom. We're all black moms. Do you really think that you can keep me away from the friends?
but
No.
I didn't mean it like yeah, I didn't mean it like
Yeah.
that. I just meant when you have there are some friends that I had that were biracial, and I knew when looking at them they were biracial. We didn't have to talk about it. I just knew that that was the case. But then the same white friends that we have, when they saw their black parents, they were in shock because they literally had no clue. But my point is, depending on your situation, what and how the type of relationship they had, when they would have seen or met that parent, it could be a very long time. And so even when you're away at college, I don't like I said, I don't know where the room's set up or anything like that. And like she said in the documentary, the women on her mother's side of the family were a big part of her life. So
But we're
I'm
talking
just
about meeting
very
people, like when your mom is teaching you, like her mom was saying when she did not have this conversation with Megan, you're not going to have a conversation with Megan when you're 20. You're going to have a conversation when you're a younger person. So you see what I'm saying? Her environment didn't produce what she needed to have to be able to deal with any type of environment that she lived in. Because back then her dad was involved in her life when her dad was not. Mom was still very strong in her life. And I think we still go back and we tatter around it that looks can drive a lot of things here, especially in the country. I can say even like for my mom, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, people used to pop up and look at my mom and say the same thing. You see what I'm saying? People sitting beside me right now and look at my mom and look at me. I mean, I have features of her, but she looks, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it's just, I think that, are we, you know, this is the conversation, and this is really good conversation. Are we in a society that, you know, I don't want to say racism, because that was racism that Megan was dealing with. You know what I mean? That was tactfully planned. That was, you know, that was meant to be put a target on her back and to destroy her credibility, destroy her her relationship. I think with her husband. I think the biggest thing, if they could have brought this relationship to a close even before they got to the actual wedding ceremony, they would have been happy. They would have been happy because little feelers was out there already. You know what I mean? Picking across the family members and things like that. You know what I mean? Because
I think they used race to try and destroy her, because it looked like they were very welcoming. The country was very much in favor of her when she came. So that, I thought it was different looking from the outside in, but after watching the documentary from their point of view, she was very much loved from the beginning, because people were so grateful that they were going to bring the monarchy into a new, you know, generation. And so, but when they decided to turn on her, I think they pulled race into the picture. It wasn't her, but it was definitely them.
So do y'all not think, Celeste and Rebel sitting here looking like, what the F, you know what I mean? Do y'all not think that, and this happens here, because we can think about a lot of things where where the media controlled the narrative, because they controlled her narrative, you know, they started off loving her and then they did about face real quick. And with anything, what happens with people, you know, we follow across the narrative that the media puts out for us, and we're trying to fight to figure out what's the truth and what's not. And that's what she's still fighting with today, because, you know, she's looked upon as this almost Jezebel, demonic, influencer that has destroyed Harry's mind, that he doesn't fit into the institution, and that they did all this harm to her, and this never happened. We all know this happened. It was just God's grace that she is, you know, mentally, I hope that she's mentally okay at this point. But neither to say, Celeste, Ramel, y'all are not saying a word.
I didn't follow the documentary, but I guess I'm still in my mind. I'm with you, but I'm still in my mind trying to figure out why she didn't think, or he didn't think, that this would be an issue with their old traditions and their old, that I don't know how nobody was not being an issue.
I said that.
So
after watching
even if it was when they didn't walk in, even if it wasn't when they didn't walk in, I would be waiting for it. I would be waiting for it. I'd be like, the first time I drop the spoon, you're gonna call me out my name. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Well, what I thought was very interesting, and I still think is very interesting, having the responsibility to the institution, right? But even once his brother had children, right? Harry's never going to be king. So why is it that his responsibilities to the institution are so great and so high, considering he's never going to be king? Now, that responsibility falling on that brother and his wife and their children, I could see it. I'm thinking that's what Princess Diana was talking about in her interview so long ago, when she always said she was more worried about Harry than she was worried about William.
Well, I
And
think
so
that
it just,
Diana was worried about Harry because I think that she knew. I mean, we all know your child, your children. If you got more than one or two, you know that your children are different. You know what I mean? They have different mindsets far as their personality. Some are more loving, some are not. You know what I mean? So I think she knew that Harry was more like her. You know what I mean? Than
Get
William.
down with the swirl.
And the oldest one, because the oldest one is so influenced by this whole institution. You see what I'm saying? He is really, and you think about it, let's keep it real. Y'all know that Harry was out there naked, shaking his ass, doing all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Harry was not following nobody protocol whatsoever. You know what I mean? So he was a bad boy. So to reel him in and make him like he was something that, he was not. And I said this to people, I was like, Commonwealth. Pennsylvania's a Commonwealth. Virginia's a Commonwealth. Those Commonwealth laws come from that. You know what I mean? It comes from that. That stuff is no joke. It's like, those old England laws. This is why I say I don't understand why she didn't know what she was really getting. You see what I'm saying, Celeste? How she didn't know what she was getting herself into.
Oh my God. Oh.
I said that from that first interview they did with her shortly after she had her baby.
She was gonna
And
cry.
and that guy asked her if she was okay. I kind of felt like when she said then she didn't know it was going to be like this. I felt like that was a bit disingenuous when she said it, because look at us as lay people from the outside looking in, and we just assumed that that's the kind of stuff that would happen, but she didn't. So I felt like that response was a little disingenuous. I felt like that even though I know her mother was very truthful in the interview, I felt like her talking, saying that she never had certain kind of talks with Meghan, I felt like that was a little bit disingenuous. The other stuff she said, I felt that 100%. I just didn't feel when she was saying that. So when you say her being unprepared, I just don't, I don't believe it.
Nobody.
I don't
The
believe
bridal
it.
sitter,
And
the
especially
person
by
that
her
sit in the
saying,
bridal dress,
right.
nobody had to talk.
And
the
I think that,
hairdresser,
right.
nobody.
So she said that she was close to the grandmother and I think the mom's sister or something like that. She mentioned other family members who were Black women. And I just don't think that it never came up. That's all I was really trying to say, Kimmy, earlier.
I think that she probably was, and I don't want to, get anybody pissed off and offended and have you coming for me. But I think that Meghan honestly was living like an elitist. And because Meghan was living like an elitist, that she thought she was going to go over there because popularity started really high. She wasn't ready for the chair to be snatched up from under her. You know what I mean? Because think about it, they come in attacking. They came in just like the devil. They welcomed her in, and then they came attacking. You know what I mean? So she wasn't. I don't think why she was. I agree with what you said, Chauncey. You said, Celeste. I don't believe that that everybody's being really transparent about conversations.
Something.
I really don't, because you as a mom, you just got a protective nature. Hell, just even because you going to school, you know what I mean? If you going to school with a little brown child, you know what I mean, and you go with little white children, you're gonna talk about it anyway, because situations are gonna come up. You don't live in a bubble, you know what I mean? You don't live there. So I kind of feel like that was, a little fabricated.
But I do know the families that they purposefully don't say anything. Remember, they both told the story about her being with her mother, and she says she only know one time that somebody called her mother the N-word. And I was like, one time in 40 years? And that you only heard it once? Oh, okay.
Well, people hear what they want to hear. Maybe you thought that was saying.
And so that's why I think that part. So I think that people can be like that. They can choose to see a different. So I say one thing to you, but you choose to see it as something else, but not really what I said to you.
Okay, and so I think the big aha when they were showing the pictures of her as a kid, that hair, Okay.
That's what I'm saying. She
I
was
was
never
like,
a
what is
minion.
y'all saying that y'all act like she don't know what she is? Because like that hair was just as poofed out, and she had the curly hair sitting out and looked like nobody knew what to do with it, but it was
The
sitting
Jew
up
fro.
there.
The Jew fro. That's what
Yeah, I
she
was
had.
like, okay, you don't even know that. Like, what in the world are you saying? Like, you look like
But I think because of where she lived, that's what made her blend in. That, to me, that's what she was saying. Because there were so many people that looked like me in different ways, and necessarily have to be black and white. It could have been black and Filipino or whatever. But they all were a little melting pot, so that's why it wasn't a big deal.
So did her future husband tell her, look, girl, yeah, I
come
love
over
you.
here, come over here,
For
girl.
my family, you know what I'm saying? We gonna rock with you. They gonna bring you in, but you just be you. They ain't nobody had the conversation with her.
That's a
Well,
good.
because
That's a
I
good
think
question.
it's a good point, but I think the family did like her. But remember, you guys, or maybe you don't remember because you didn't watch it. What I also got from it is there's a difference between how the family feels and then how the institution feels. I don't think that they are one and the same. Based on the way the two of them spoke, she got to be very close with his grandmother and stuff like that.
That's
But
the
then
one
when
she was close with. But I
yes,
don't
but
think she
then
was
when
close with Kate
the
or
queen?
William.
the queen,
You
she
talk
was
about the
close.
queen?
The
Yeah,
queen.
she had developed a
I
very
am the
nice.
queen. The
But what?
institution is me.
No,
This is my
no.
my
That's
daughter.
what.
But wait a minute,
No.
y'all,
That's
really,
what we
because
found
you know
out.
what? Remember the line
That's
they
what,
said about the queen? Only thing the queen ever knew was the institution. All she knew. Now I
so
don't care
if
if she
they
loved
if so
her or
that
not.
means
That
right. So that means
institution.
if the institution came and corrected the queen, then the queen would do an about face. And so they were very careful with how they spoke about his grandmother. But I believe, like I said, you could be going along doing A, B, and C. But if the institution come back and say, okay, we can't side with her, we got to do this, this, and this, then everybody shut down and they follow what the institution said.
Okay, so the last thing when the queen, remember before they left, and they wanted to meet with the queen, both of them,
and she
they
said, I'm
didn't want to
busy.
see her. They waited till they denied it. That they denied that meeting and waited till Meghan left and had the meeting with Harry, and that was where it just all broke. It all broke. So I think that yes, I think the queen had empathy for Meghan, but she's not going to choose the institution over Meghan. That's just not going to happen, hon. And I think that Harry and William and Kate, they are the institution because they know that they're next in line. They know that they're next in line.
They have to be.
If you look at King Charles, he's 70 something, 78 years old or something like that. Even if he lives 20 more years, William still will succeed and still be fairly at a decent age. You see what I'm saying? So they're not going to jeopardize that, so.
And I think Charles found favor with his mother or with the institution somehow, because I believe they had talked for many years that he was just going to straight abdicate the throne when the queen either died or she gave up the throne. He was going to straight abdicate and it would go to William if he was an adult and of a certain age. But that wound up not happening.
I don't know. He shouldn't be in nobody's favor. Ramel, you ain't said nothing, girl.
I'm listening to y'all talk about them. I'm here. I'm here. I think all of this boils down to classism because they still deal with that over there.
They do.
Because even with Camilla, who they didn't want her around either. So that was a tough thing. And I don't know if I find it hard to believe that Meghan people didn't know she was Black and she never had to deal with that. Because like you said, that hair was good and kinky and poofy. And then the mother is a beautiful chocolate woman. How would you not know?
No, I love her mother. Mother is so pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty. She got them beautiful locks and stuff like that. I just, I think that this is what the whole topic was. Do you not think that sometimes people don't want to be Black?
Yeah. Well, if
You
you
know
have
that
to deal with all the
look,
junk men have
old
to deal
Madison
with,
say
black
this.
men, do
Put it
you
where
want
the
to date
ghost
black
can eat
men?
it. Put it where the ghost can eat it. That's a real thing. Don't y'all think this is a real thing? That when she made that comment, think about the comment. She didn't want she was never treated like a black woman. I couldn't imagine saying that. You know, I mean, she felt like that. That's her feelings. But I can't imagine. And it made me think about this whole episode because how she even got the opportunity to pick sides. You know what I mean? Because at some point, somebody thought that Megan was Caucasian because you could not think that you were something else when you didn't think you were black. You weren't being treated as a black. How were you being treated? As a Caucasian? You damn sure don't look Chinese, so you're not getting treated like that. So, you know, that's why I'm just, you know, as an honest question, you know, do y'all agree or do y'all, I
I
don't know.
think she just didn't want to admit to the fact that she was passing for so long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think people can kind of abandon their heritage and their, you know, and their race. I think, especially for somebody who doesn't see the benefit. If she was getting more benefit, people think she was white. Why would she ever address race?
That's a really good emphasis you put on this, Ramel. If you don't see the benefit in it, and you had the opportunity to be somebody else, I think that's what she did. She took that chance, and then it kind of fell back. What you think, Celeste?
Backfire.
Yeah, it backfired on her.
Yeah, I think it backfired on her. I mean, okay, like even like get off of Meghan Markle. It's a whole bunch of people out here living like that. It's a whole bunch of people out here living like that. You know, everybody may not be a race baiter, you know what I mean? But it's people out here that in just the day to day, maybe even in your own job, that, you know, don't even want to identify as black. I know I used to see this on social media and I used to just gasp, like, what? Like, who is your parents? And I know y'all have seen this when the little girl probably was like a teenager or something. She was and she was on one of those talk shows. She was denying up and down she was black. Remember, she was denying up and down. So I was just thinking, I was like, you know, to be able to detach from it is really it's really a deep conversation. And it makes me lead into another conversation that says, is this why we struggle as women of color to have like a sisterhood for real, to be conjoined together in you know, walk in lockstep? Because I'm gonna keep it real. White sisters walk lockstep, Chinese sisters walk lockstep, but I think we've struggled to walk lockstep.
We do, because we have a bunch of colorism. We're not all just black sisters when it comes from from certain places. It's the light-skinned girl over there, it's the dark-skinned girl over there. And once you start dividing us up like that, how do you stand together? Because somebody is going to be offended.
Well, I say if we don't try to do better, you see what I'm saying, in that aspect, really, if we don't try to do better, there will always be someone able to demean us, infiltrate us, and minimize us. You see what I'm saying? Always. And I hope that go ahead, Celeste, because you can write a laugh about something.
I always got something funny. It's always something. So I have different shades of children. It goes from darkest to the lightest, right? And my middle daughter is the lightest of all of us. And so we've always, because she's always looked like a Latino, she got the little light skin or whatever. But we were all sitting around, and I've been using this kind of cream on my face. And my daughter was like, "Oh my God, Ma, you're so light." And I was like, and she kept saying it. I was like, damn, I could have been a light-skinned chick all this time. I thought I was chocolate. Like, legit. That's the first thing that came to my mind, because when I was growing up, the light-skinned girls, in my opinion, were treated so much different than us brown-skinned girls. So we had the colorism that was going on all the time. All the time. And for me to think I was light-skinned for like a half a second, I was like, wait a minute. I'm missing out.
I have the same thing with my children. Chauncey, you got it with your kids too. My son is uber light. You know what I mean? My daughter is my complexion. But my son, when he was born, I was in the mall and I was carrying him, and Jose used to have blue eyes. And the lady asked me, was I the nanny? And y'all know Jose looked just like me. And I was like, I was like, what? You know, like, oh my God, like, is it that much of a difference?
They used to say to me about Jared, is her dad white? And I'm like, why are you whispering? And no.
Why are you whispering? What in the world?
And no.
Yeah. And when I had my daughter looked just like a Sumu Eskimo. She looked just like me. She had black hair, and you know, she had this round face, and it was funny because they were more gravitated to my son Jose than to my daughter. You know what I mean? And I used to always say to myself, if you don't want to spend time with my daughter, you are not going to spend time with my son, because you're not going to spend time with neither one of them. Because they're going to know who they are. And I don't care what color they are, because when I grew up in my household was just like that too. And my dad didn't allow that crap. That wasn't going on at all. You know, so I can see, like, you know, you think you're gonna get favored or whatever. And I go back to that. I think she did receive favoritism somewhere, you know, in her life, but I don't know how that works.
Why would her mother not teach? Why would her mother not have that conversation with a black young girl?
Because I think she liked what she saw going on. To keep it real, I think she liked what she saw going on. I think she liked that she was getting all the accolades and everything that was coming along with it. So why pull that shit back? You see what I'm saying?
And again, if you start traveling in circles where there are none that really look like you, then you can be Black when you want to be and not when you don't want to be.
I think that's a huge problem for her. Why she's struggling right now with people and her skin, because her mother did her, it was deficient. Because why would you not teach your children about this? Well, you know, even if she didn't have to deal with it then, she would need to know at some point, you are a Black woman. But if your own mother doesn't demonstrate for you that you've got to love the skin you're in, of course you're going to have a lot of shortcomings and a lot of struggles when you get older. People are forcing you to look at yourself.
So another question I just want to pose: if you can't teach your own daughter about your own self, because that's what you are, then what kind of self-esteem is your daughter going to really have? You see what I'm saying?
Well, right. Because again, I think that we have the situations where we do things on purpose and avoiding it, and then or acting like we're something else and then just not talk about it. I think that's two sides of the same coin, but I do still think it's different, right? So we can just not talk about it and only deal with it when and if it comes up. Or we can act like we're not that at all and do everything in the world to act like we're not that, right? I can't say everyone she's dated in her life, but most of the men she's dated have been white. That's what I mean by not traveling in those circles. We all have been to the universities, PWIs and stuff like that, and the Black girls that join the white sororities. Now, if you're a little ambiguous, then you fit right in, because they don't do anything with Black sororities and fraternities. That's what I mean by immersing yourself in a different world. It's not that you didn't come across Black folks, but if you living in a sorority house and you doing all of that, when are you around us?
Well, let's say this: how did that work out for you?
Yeah,
I think that, and I don't think that she's, and I didn't get that she's upset that she's being treated Black. I think that the fact that they're weaponizing it is what she can't handle, when we know from an everyday basis how it can be weaponized.
Because girlfriend ain't really seen how it is to be treated Black. Not for real.
Well, she just found out. Oh no, she just found out.
That's what
she may not have known before, but she knows now.
Yeah,
Yeah, she gonna learn today.
she
gonna learn today.
she getting the express treatment. You know what I mean?
And she better teach those
Learn
kids.
today.
Better teach
She
those
better
kids.
teach them kids because they black too. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They black
Them
too.
kids.
So you better teach them.
Say 1 ounce of black, right? 1 ounce,
One ounce of black
whatever.
would make you
One
black.
drop rule. The
Mhm.
one drop rule.
I don't know how
That's
they know what
right.
the dropper was, but you know, you black.
But they've been dropped.
Cause
They've been dropped.
grandmama's black. And that's all that matters. Grandmama's black, you're black.
Mhm.
So yeah. Yeah, that was very interesting, y'all. You know what I mean? I hope that anybody listening to this, you know, I hope they enjoyed it because I think we had some real candid conversation. You want to say something else?
No. I don't know what she thought she was going to do when that black lady pulled up to that castle. I don't know what she thought they were going to do. I don't know. I mean,
Go to the back and say, "Are you here for the help?" That's what they're gonna
yeah,
say. Go back there if you need to be helping us out.
yeah.
That's what they thought was going to happen.
But what I am, like I said, what I did learn from it, like I said, was that even down to her dad was always in her life. Just prior to her going down the aisle is when they had an issue. They never had an issue before then.
But they weren't living cohabitating together.
No,
So
no,
that's
I
what
don't
was
mean.
saying. They weren't cohabitating together.
But I know her
And
parents.
she has a lot of issues. She has a lot of issues with that dad's side of the family. She has a lot.
But what I'm saying is, because he had a family before he married her mother.
He did.
But her mother even said that her and her father co-parented with no problems. And so she went back and forth between the two. But their relationship didn't have an issue until right before this marriage. She said up until that point, her and her dad stayed in contact. She said, I talked to my dad twice a week.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, that's co-parenting is, you know, one thing. And I'm not minimizing her dad because I think
being an adult. Kim, I'm saying she said
I think her dad is an opportunist because I think he caused a lot of issues in her life. But when we talk about, I think her dad is really just the person that is her dad and is a Caucasian man. So I don't really think he has really much relevance because he is the one we know is the white man in this whole picture. I think her mother is the statue in this picture because her mom, she's been around her mom. Her mom didn't like say, here, you spend half the year with dad, come spend it with me. She's always been around her mom. And her mom, it's really kind of shocking that her mom did not sit down there and talk to her about her being black. And if you're cool with your aunties and stuff and you got black aunties and nobody in the house talking about you being black,
I don't believe
you know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah,
No, that's not something that somebody is not telling the whole truth.
She came home 50% of the time to this black lady. She didn't know she was black.
She came over 75% of the home to the black lady. And the black lady combed her hair.
That went down the block to the beauty supply store and got the gel for her hair. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's why I think in the editing they kind of really went askew with that part. And I'm just kind of like, this isn't
they
making
should
it.
have kept her baby pictures out of it because you probably would have thought something different. But when I saw that poof hair like this, I was like, yo, no, because I'm telling you, somebody had to know how to comb that head. You know what I mean? Somebody had to know how to do something. That is not, and I'm not trying to be funny. Think about it. We all was little kids. We all had thick, long hair and stuff like that. Guess what? Somebody needs to know how to comb their head.
Her mother did. Didn't you see
black mother?
That's the point that I'm making. Mom is in the picture, and mom had no reason not to sit down there and talk to her and let her know.
That's why I'm not even. That's exactly why I'm not getting upset.
But
saying
for real, mom didn't have to say nothing.
But I knew
mom just had to say, "Come and eat these pork chops and these string beans and the potato salad."
And aunties and all them around too.
Wait a minute, but I'm gonna make you laugh.
It was just you knew. First of all,
I'm gonna make you laugh though.
Mom.
Because her mom did say in the interview, when Megan was like, Mom, do you think this is about race? And her mother was like, you don't think it's about race? Of course it is.
I think that was for camera purposes because
her mother was like, of course it is. But I could tell the way her mother said it. because that's how our moms would have said
Did
it.
she get the paper how they talked about her mother?
Hello? And so I'm like, well, because we don't know, timing and everything. But yeah, but she said it to her mom was like, of course it is.
But I'm gonna give Megan a lot of credit. Guess what? Because I really like Megan. I like her. I think that she the princess that won. Because they didn't win, she won. I like Megan, and I say this much. If you want something bad enough, I say this all the time. You want something bad enough, you can get it. Just remember what you're getting and what you're asking for. Because there's all the stuff that comes along with it. So she weathering the storm, you know what I mean? They're not looking for money. They got plenty of that. You see what I'm saying? They're not longing for anything. And I don't think that Megan thought she was gonna be the queen. You know what I mean? I think that she just, I think she took this on almost like a challenge. And she kind of beat the challenge because she stood her ground, you know what I mean? She wasn't gonna stay there and, I guess entertain this foolery that was going on. And she got her happy family, and they live in the United States now. All is well.
And like I said, and then they were together a lot longer than any of us realized. That was the other thing. So they were together a lot longer than any of us realized as well. So they did an incognito thing for close to 2 years. And so
because a lot of women wanted Harry, y'all. Y'all have to keep it real because Harry was out there naked doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody wanted Harry. They ain't want William, they wanted Harry.
Well, you know why they wanted Harry? Well, they wanted Harry because Harry was attainable. William was never attainable. Because William is going to be king, he didn't have the same type of access. And
Girl,
so,
like in Coming to America, you think the sister took took Arsenio Hall. At least you got somebody in the crew that was like
royalty.
So to me, the way all of this is playing out is that this man now gets to have a life that he truly wants.
I hope so, because I hope, because think about it, he's the institution too. He's the institution too, and
he admitted to that. He said that there were some times that I reacted as the institution, and I should have been reacting as a husband. But
and I just feel bad for him because you think about it, that was your whole life, your family, your friends, everybody is in England. You know what I mean? To have that taken away in this type of aspect. We have to encourage and hope that they can work through that.
And I look at it as it wasn't taken away. I take him at his word. He made the choice to protect his family and leave, and that's the difference. That's different than it being taken from you. He made the choice.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I agree. I just say that.
Not, then we're emasculating him, making it that he can't make a decision on his own.
But he can't go back home either. So that's already a non-factor too. He can't go back home. The doors and the keys have been removed, so he can't go back. He can't go back.
He got some black children now. He can't come back.
But the thing is,
he got black wives, some black kids.
He wanted to go back. What would you be going back to? Like, you ain't gonna never be king, so why go back?
I'm playing y'all though, but you know what? This is what I told Keith. The only part that really rocks me and makes me feel a little sad for Harry is I know that his moms would not want him to have this divide with his brother. You know what I mean?
I don't think it'll be there forever. I don't think it'll be there forever.
I hope not.
I think that they will.
Because he's the institution. The brother is the institution.
But it is his role. Sometimes what I'm finding out with all of this in their world, sometimes you still just got to roll. That's your ministry.
Hell, the father, everybody, you know what I mean? The father, the brother, and I'm just saying, I'm sure that, as parents, we do what we can for our children, and I'm sure that his dad is having something done for Harry. But I'm just saying the brotherhood that those two guys have shared is now strained, you know what I mean? And you could talk, but tongue and teeth fall out, you know what I mean? You hope they gather back together and make it work. Because I know his mom would want that.
Right. But at the end of the day, doesn't that happen in so many families? And so the prayer is, just that they'll come back together. Sometimes
some people never talk.
Yeah, that's true.
And, sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you just need that break to regroup and then make your way back.
But be real. Some people never talk again.
No, No, they don't. But like you said, we're prayerful that they
Yeah,
will.
we're prayerful there.
Um,
All right. Really
but
good,
I'm
y'all.
glad to see that she won because he chose her. That has to make you
They
feel a
have
certain.
beautiful children. They have their home is beautiful, and I'm glad they got out that little cottage that they was living in. I was like, yo, if you think they was living large in England, that was like what in the
Far
world?
more. Yeah, it was a little tiny place. Yeah,
Okay, well,
it was
I
supposed to be
want to be in
humble.
that big place where everybody else is at. I don't want to be up in this little
Supposed
tiny
to be
place.
humble.
But where
But
they
see,
live
if
at,
they did, but wait a minute, if they did, they was already accusing her, saying she was a gold digger.
okay, I'll be a gold digger because I'm gonna go up in there with everybody else. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't really care what you think. I'm gonna go back up in there with those people. That's what I'm gonna do.
Guess what? I don't want to be with those people anyway. She did the right thing.
And y'all got enough wings in this palace. We can have the H wing over here, and you will never have to see us.
That's how they teach us black women. You don't leave the house, you go on the other side of the house. Make him leave, right?
Make him leave. Make him leave.
I think
All right.
I gotta stay too.
Yeah, really good episode. Any final words? Any final thoughts?
No, just
Love the skin you're in.
Love the skin you're in, and teach your
wait a
children.
minute, and know what comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Love what you're in, but know what comes with it as well.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Celeste?
No, I guess I agree with you guys. My last word would probably be really, really crazy. Like, I'm always thinking crazy, but in this case,
No, you're not.
don't go into situations thinking that you've been faking the funk and ain't nobody gonna find you out. I mean, that's all I can think.
Okay.
You came home to this black woman every day, and if you wasn't black by blood, you had enough black experience to be prepared for what was going to happen. And I just don't be foolish. That's my last word.
Don't be foolish.
Don't be foolish.
Don't be foolish.
That's a good one. Don't be foolish.
Now,
Yeah, no, my last word was love the skin you're in and educate yourself. I just think that it just was too weird that she said she never had any black experiences, or never was treated black. So I can't imagine that.
Making up for it now.
I was gonna say something really bad, but then I'm not gonna say
Has now.
No, say it. Say it.
She might not have been before, but she has now.
She ain't had no
Yeah,
black
right.
penis. That's what she didn't.
Oh well,
What? Say that again?
oh yeah.
I said she
That
ain't
makes
had no
sense.
black penis. That's what she didn't have.
Well, didn't I say that earlier?
Yeah, it would have been no
confusion.
confusion. She would have been over there. Girl, what you talking about? Who you talking? Who you get smart with? Oh, you said something?
Shut up, Kim.
Said what? What you say? What?
You are who you are. You are who you are. And now this week I'm light skinned. I ain't realized I'm light skinned.
Your skin looks good. though. You look good.
Thank you. I've been working on it, but
It
now
look
I'm light
good.
skinned today.
Chauncey, you got any final words?
Thank you.
No, just that even if we update the talk, whatever it is you want to call it, and to any multiracial, biracial, ambiguous people, just know your history. Know your history and how we've been treated all over the world. This is nothing new. And so I hate to seem, pessimistic or even negative, but be prepared for the worst and pray for the best.
Always.
Be prepared for the worst and pray for the best. That's all.
That's a good one. All right, y'all. Well, we'll do it again next Wednesday. Join us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So joining me tonight is
Celeste, your girl.
I'm Chauncey.
Ramel.
and I'm your girl, Kimmy. So see you again on the porch. Have a good week on purpose. Take care.